Hello, it's Miss O, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about conjunctions. And usually when I bring up conjunctions in the classroom, most of my students tend to sing that Schoolhouse Rock jingle, conjunction, junction, what's your function? So that's why I listed that here. But when we define conjunctions, we define them as joining words that link elements of thought. So this can happen with words, it can happen with clauses too. And there are three main types of conjunctions, the first of which being coordinating conjunctions, which you also will hear me refer to as fanboys. That's an acronym that we can use for remembering what the coordinating conjunctions are. Next is correlating conjunctions, and lastly, subordinating conjunctions. So, coordinating conjunctions. Again, like I mentioned, fanboys is the acronym that I usually use to remember each of those, and you'll hear me refer to coordinating conjunctions as fanboys. And fanboys stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So each of those words there is considered a coordinating conjunction. Fanboys show equality between the elements that they join. So if we're joining two words or if we're joining two clauses or phrases, the two items that we're joining together are looked upon as having equal importance in this sentence when they're joined with a coordinating conjunction. And this will make a little bit more sense as we talk a little more about conjunctions, but do remember that coordinating conjunctions denote equality. So for example, I like ice cream and cake. So here we're using the conjunction and to join the elements of ice cream and also cake as things that I like. And then Grace dislikes macaroni and cheese, but she makes it very well. So here we actually have two coordinating conjunctions appearing in this sentence because we have and joining together macaroni and cheese, but then we also have but being used here to join together the two clauses, Grace dislikes macaroni and cheese, and she makes it very well. And then lastly, my car broke down, so I had to buy a new one. So we're using the coordinating conjunction so here to again join two clauses with my car broke down and also I had to buy a new one. The coordinating conjunction for is only a conjunction when it can be interchanged with the word because. So a lot of people usually ask me, how is it that for is used as a coordinating conjunction in terms of joining things, which is a really great question. When for is not being used as a coordinating conjunction, it's being used as a preposition. And that's probably the most common way that you see the word for used, because most people don't actually use for as an interchangeable with because. But here's some examples for you. So first of all, this first one talks about how to use it incorrectly in terms of using it as a conjunction. So if you were to say, I bought flowers for my fiance, we couldn't take out the word for and then put in because and have the sentence make sense, because then it would read, I bought flowers because my fiance. So that doesn't really make any sense. However, with this one, we were late for there was heavy traffic on the freeway. This actually could be used, for could be used as a coordinating conjunction here because we can take it out and actually put in the word because and the sentence would still make sense. We can absolutely say we were late because there was heavy traffic on the freeway. So that's the difference there with using the word for as a coordinating conjunction. Correlating conjunctions. These conjunctions appear in pairs. So the pairs that they appear in are listed here, and I just kind of denoted that there is a pair relationship between the two with the ellipsis between. So both ... and, not only ... but also, either ... or, neither ... nor, whether ... or, and just as ... so too. So the idea here is that if you are using one of these words in terms of using it as part of a correlating conjunction pair, then you are to follow it up with its appropriate pair in order to use it correctly for that. So correlating conjunctions do show equality between the elements that they join, just like the fanboys do. However, the joining that they do tends to be more definite and a little bit closer when it comes to correlating conjunctions. And so here I just made a note about not interchanging the correlative pairs. So you don't want to mix up neither with or either with nor, or whether with nor. And some examples on how to use these: neither Brian nor Greg showed up for school today, so we have the neither and nor there. And not only do you need 100 hours of community service, but also 3 letters of recommendation. So we have the not only ... but also example there. Okay, subordinating conjunctions. These allow the writer to show which idea is more and which is less important in a sentence, which will make sense in just a minute. And subordinating conjunctions make whatever part of the sentence that they belong to into a subordinate or a dependent clause. So when we talked about clauses before, we defined them as being sentence parts that can either stand alone or that are dependent on something. And if a subordinating conjunction is at the start of a clause, then it automatically makes it into a dependent clause, something that cannot stand alone. Subordinate clauses provide a time, place, and a reason for the main clause. And here's some examples for you. Although I don't like peas, I ate them in my salad last night. So the subordinating conjunction that's being used here is the word although, and the dependent clause is the part of the sentence that says, although I don't like peas, and that's it. The independent clause of that sentence would be the rest of it, which says, I ate them in my salad last night. Another example: before hopping onto her motorcycle, Tiffany donned all of her riding gear. So again, we're using the subordinating conjunction before here, and the dependent clause then becomes before hopping onto her motorcycle, with the independent clause being Tiffany donned all of her riding gear. Next, we won't be able to continue unless this storm lets up. This sentence is a little bit different because we have the subordinating conjunction and dependent clause coming later in the sentence. It doesn't always have to be at the beginning. So here we're using the subordinating conjunction unless. The dependent clause then becomes unless this storm lets up, and the independent clause is the part that says we won't be able to continue. Lastly, my dogs got into the trash while I was at the mall. Again, we have the dependent clause appearing second in this sentence, with the subordinating conjunction being used as the word while. So the dependent clause is the part of the sentence that says, while I was at the mall. Independent clause is, my dogs got into the trash.